again, we like to look at things in terms of like, prevention is obviously the best thing. Never even letting him have a look at an attack is obviously the best thing. But things don't go that way oftentimes. And so the deeper the waters you get into, you still need to have options. And the good thing about having late stage options is it should instill confidence in your earlier stage, because the confidence to be able to apply certain things and knowing you have a backup plan if those things fail, it should instill confidence. Now, sometimes it doesn't, but we'll talk about that some other time. Whenever we get into this position, what we're looking at now is Jared really has a good look at this triangle. So this sucks really bad. So what needs to happen now? So think about whenever we were talking about when the arm is on the side. And it's not just about anchoring this, but it's also about kind of shoving that hip in, so not allowing him to hip out to that direction. We're going to do something similar on this side once the arm gets here. Now, I would not recommend starting from here and putting the arm over here to do this one, but this has happened whenever he gets here and I wasn't able to bulldog out. So at this one, this is I'd say this is a popular escape. The problem with it, I see a lot of the time, is people tend to go to it too early. They put themselves in unnecessary danger to get themselves here, and then if it fails, you have nothing left. So once we get into this position here, my elbow is across, and I want to make pressure on that hip. And you see how I'm trying to shift Jared over this direction. So I'm using my other arm to help shove that elbow in, and this hand is going to try to get up here near the inside of his knee like this. So I'm pressing in like that. Once we get in that direction here, now I'm going to drive his knee to the floor. I'm not, there's a wrong way, a very wrong way, and a better way to do it. If I try to drive his knee to the floor out here, not going to be nearly as successful. Instead, what I need to do is try to get his knee here by moving his hip kind of out of the way. So once that happens, now I've really corrupted the angle of his hip. I'm still keeping pressure here. I'm going 2 hands on the knee, and then I'm going to pike up into this downward facing dog kind of direction. As we go there, another mistake that people often make on this one is they start trying to push this direction right now. His hamstring is very strong, and I'm not going to be able to break that connection. So instead, I'm going to start to hop around and find the angle that's lateral to the inside of his, or to the outside of his calf. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm pushing his ankle that way. And so there's lateral pressure here on his knee. So out of self-preservation, oftentimes when we get there, he'll start to drop that back out. So then as I come up, now I can start to bring the arms inside. Or if I do a good enough job here of that kind of dive bomber type push up, I can start to shin staple my way over and keep that connection open so he doesn't reestablish it. So again, we're here. And the arm has somehow gotten to this side. So I want to reinforce it and make good strong pressure on his hip. I want to shove his butt to his left, to my right, and then I want to drop his knee toward the floor. Once we get here, I double up on the knee, pressure here. I downward facing dog like this here, and then I get more oblique to the outside of his calf. And then as I start pushing and that starts to open, now I can start to staple and then reevaluate my position from there.
I've got to let go of the legs being crossed or my knee's going to blow out. So they'll feel the pressure and they'll let go because or they'll sacrifice their leg in the process. Yeah. Of course, they want to do. One quick note on that. If whenever you come down, he's kind of pulling the leg under it as well. But once he makes the connection to the ground, he shifts the weight so that the weight's now on my elbows and hand. So the weight distribution is angled such that it makes it hard for him to climb and get deeper with the submission. My shoulder stays kind of close to my knuckles right here, and then pike the hips up, and then turn that corner is going to make him let go.
Yeah, and again, one of the most common mistakes that you see on this is people start pushing this way. But the hamstring is pretty strong, and being able to maintain that connection is pretty easy that way. Once you get here, this ankle can't really, on most humans, this ankle can't make it to the floor, and that's what we're trying to do. So to alleviate that pressure, I have to extend that out to preserve the health of my knee right there. So that's why this is such an effective one. Consequently, it's one that people tend to go to early because they have success with it. The problem is if you go all the way to your latest backup plan for your primary escape, there's nothing left after that. There's no safety net beyond that. So it's important not to allow your safety nets to become hammocks, is the saying, right? So you don't want to get too comfortable in that last ditch effort.